Hey, also Craft Holsters once again reached out to me and asked if I wanted to review another holster. I said sure, hey, why not? So they sent me a outside the waistband thumb brake holster for my 1911, this being my Delta Elite. So I figured I'd review it today. Now, one thing I want to clarify, this holster is stamped Vega holsters. So I don't know if they made it for Vega or if they just sell Vega stuff on their website. I did reach out to them for clarification on that. Waited about a week, haven't heard anything. Maybe the guy's on vacation, I don't know. But a small detail like that, I'm not going to have hold up a review. So let's go to the bench. We are on the bench, and I'm going to talk about, I've got two things that I don't like about this holster, and the rest of it I'm pretty good with. So you might notice, and I'm going to talk about the one big thing I don't like about this, which this is my personal preference. When I carry my 1911, I prefer to carry it cocked and locked. A lot of people do, and in my opinion, if you're going to carry a 1911 for concealed carry, it's the only way to carry. I know some people carry hammer down, chamber empty. That's fine for me for safe peace of mind. There's a safety on the gun. I use it. So you'll notice here that the thumb brake is working quite well with the gun hammered down, because it's almost if the holster is designed that way. Because when I go, and if I want to carry the gun cocked and locked, I won't put the safety on, no sense to, it's actually kind of awkward to get the thumb brake to re-snap, right? You kind of have to push the thumb brake around here, and kind of do it on camera, right? And then you can kind of get it snap, but it's kind of awkward, and it's kind of push the leather and strains the leather to do that. And also, the holster no longer holds the gun tight. Now you've got about a half-inch movement up and down, which movement equals pain, movement equals holster wear, and if that's something that you're worried about, then that will create an issue. So if you like carrying cocked and locked, I would not recommend this particular holster, but if you like carrying hammer down, you're fine, right? So other than that, we're going to pull this out, right? Stitching on this is pretty nice. One of the things I like is they did reinforce the thumb brake, which is really nice because you don't see that that often, but it adds some rigidity to the thumb brake, so it's not super floppy. Stitching is real nice. I haven't wore this a whole lot just because, again, I don't carry hammer down, but it does seem like they did a decent job. You've got the multiple things to carry the gun at different cants, right? The molding seems nice. Looks like a 1911, looks pretty good, and coloring is pretty nice. It looks like a decent, well-made holster, except for my other issue, which again, this is kind of better type of scenario where I was kind of surprised they didn't do this. Is you'll notice here on the thumb brake, right, this snap, it sticks out. Now, what happens is when you've got something like this sticking out, when you go to draw the gun, especially with this up against your body, it's going to grind against the side of your frame. Now, if you're not worried about finish wear, then this won't bother you at all. But if you're someone like me who likes their guns, likes to carry their guns, likes honest wear on their guns, but also doesn't like big scratches up and down the entire side of the frame from a holster, that's going to bug you. So that's another reason why I haven't really used this holster that much, because I know that pulling it in and out, I have to be very careful of this because it sticks out. Now, most companies, what I've seen is they will either do a second piece of leather here and have it recessed in so it's kind of flush with the leather, or I've seen different companies, what they'll do is they'll have a little plastic guard that goes around this and makes it that it rubs against plastic and it's not really that bad. But other than that, like I said, craftsmanship doesn't seem terrible. It's just those two issues, the fact that the holster is designed to be carried hammer down, and the fact that they did not recess the thumb brake. Those are the two things that kind of bother me. Let's see how it looks on the belt. Here we are at crotch cam with my slightly wrinkled white t-shirt, but I didn't realize it until just now. I'm going to go with it. Now, the gun does conceal pretty well. I have it here. actually, the funny thing is, so the little bit of printing I see, and I can see it as I'm walking around now, not that anybody else would see it, but I see it, is right here, you'll see, and what's actually printing is the thumb brake, right? So that's actually one of the reasons I kind of went away from thumb brakes was depending upon how the thumb brake is designed, that can actually be something that prints more than the gun itself because it kind of is a weird angle sticking out. The only other print I noticed, now I have this in the more vertical position. Here we can see there's two slots here for the belt. I have this in the more vertical position. Depending upon what range of motion, the shirt does hang a little bit, you can see right there, off of the butt of the gun. Again, this is just a t-shirt, so that can happen with larger frame guns, and plus, if that's a issue for you, it does offer the ability to cant it more forward, which would eliminate that issue. Me, it usually doesn't bother me too much because nobody's paying that much attention, and if they are, well, they're weird. So one nice thing is, so here is the bottom of the holster, and again, with just a t-shirt here, you can see this isn't an exceptionally long t-shirt. You do have plenty of clearance, so if you're moving your arms around and stuff like that, you're reaching for stuff, it does give you plenty of room. There you can see the bottom of the holster for that. So pulling the shirt aside, right, now drawing, I'm going to modify my draw here because again I don't want the that thing to further scratch my whole gun. Keyword, it's further scratch. It may have already put a scratch in. So thumb brake on this is really nice. Like, that's the one thing I will say is the reinforced thumb brake, it snaps freely pretty nice. But when I pull it, and I'm going to pull this away from the gun, right, nice clean draw. I will say break-in was pretty much non-existent. I have not wore this that much, and from the first time I pulled it out of the box, the break-in was non-existent, and the gun slips in real nice and smooth here, and was not an issue. So draw is pretty good, reholstering is pretty simple, but yeah, so it rides pretty good on the belt. Not really much discomfort, pretty much what you would expect from a holster that's not garbage for carrying a 1911. So that's my thoughts on how it conceals and how it wears. Let's go back up at the bench for my final thoughts. Back up on the bench for my final thoughts, and I just think it gets a soft pass for me. Like, honestly, it's not something I'm going to be using anytime soon. I don't think the craftsmanship, like if this was an open top holster, I probably wouldn't have any issues with this holster. Like I said, it seems to carry the gun decent. It holds the gun in pretty well. It's just when you get up here to the thumb brake, the fact that I can't really carry it cocked and locked without it kind of being, kind of weird, not really secure, and the fact that they did not really recess this piece here, it just makes it that it's not something that is particularly my style. Now, if you don't really mind if your gun's already kind of beat up, that's not really a big deal to you about the finish, that's fine. And if you like carrying hammer down, then this would be the holster for you. I'd like to thank Craft for sending this out for me to take a look at, but at the end of the day, I just don't think it meets what I'm looking for and what certain people might be looking for in a concealed carry holster. But that's my thoughts on it, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask me down below, and have a good day.